Really, my purpose for today is we're going to be walking through the SPA platform, showcasing some of the fundamental functionality and features that come with this platform. But as Razib mentioned, there's a lot of new developments our team has been working on. So just highlighting those different new requirements or functionality and really the value that comes alongside those. One of the things that Razib had pointed out as well is oftentimes a lot of the customers that we work with before adopting Enable, they have a lot of different challenges in a number of areas. This can be challenges when it comes to handling complex rebate agreements or SPAs. It can be challenges around visibility or centralization. So in addition to showing the core functionality, I'm also going to be leaning in on a few of those different challenges, highlighting the different areas where Enable can really provide some value to your team there. So as for the flow for today's demonstration, my plan for today is it's basically going to be an end-to-end demonstration. So we're going to start by taking a look at the deal creation process, how you as a distributor can go about setting up the calculation and setting up the contract within our system. And then once we've taken a look at the deal creation side, we're going to move into reporting. So reporting on things like tracking around claims, how much you should be claiming back from these different manufacturers, as well as claims functionality itself, which is a way for you to send data back to those manufacturers and ultimately claim back on a given SPA. Where we are starting here is we're going to start on the SPA listings page. So really this is really where you would jump in and first kind of land when you're jumping into our SPA solution. But before we get into the details on this page here, a few quick callouts. So firstly, Enable is a SaaS solution, fully accessible online, and we're hosted on Microsoft Azure in a cloud instance. So what that means for our customers is that anytime that they want their users to jump in, access the data, do things like setting up these different SPAs and calculations, all they would need is a simple username and password and an internet connection, and they can jump in, get access to these different SPAs and the different reporting elements here. On this SPA listings page specifically, again, this is kind of the landing page for SPAs, but this is really just acting as a centralized warehouse where you can have all of your different team jump in, see a list of all of the SPAs that you have ongoing or had in the past, and really just get visibility into these SPAs here. One of the big things that I commonly hear with our customers before adopting Enable is oftentimes they have a tough time getting visibility and centralization into all of their different SPAs. If an organization has hundreds or thousands of these SPAs, it's difficult to use a legacy tool like an ERP or an Excel to just have that kind of visibility and see all of these SPAs in a clean list like we do right here. As we can see, there's a few ways that we can also filter down this page here. So if you wanted to kind of shortlist the information that we're seeing on this listings page, numerous ways to do this, as we can see on these filter options right here. So if you wanted to maybe filter down just for expiring SPAs or just for a specific manufacturer or what might have you, there's many different ways for you to jump in, filter this information down, and ultimately get visibility into the different agreements that you want to access and get visibility into. The way that we can actually go about setting up a contract and setting up the calculation for the SPA within our system is we can take a look at this agreement right here, which is in draft stage. And basically using this page, this is where you can go to enter in all of the deal details when it comes to this SPA specifically. One thing I want to call out as well is in addition to having the ability to enter this information in on this page right here, you as a distributor can also upload this information or bulk import these contracts into our system. So what that looks like at a high level is you would basically share with Enable the different contracts, all of the information surrounding these SPAs, and we'll basically take that and bulk import that into the system, and then you'd be able to see the details of this SPA similar to as we see on this page right here. To actually go about manually configuring one of these SPAs, it's a pretty straightforward process. So what we do as the starting point here is we have to identify who are the different parties that are involved in this SPA specifically. So in this case, we have to identify the given manufacturer. We can select from a list right here and quickly decide who the given manufacturer is. And then if it's going to be a end customer specific kind of deal, we can also select end customer eligibility using this section right here. Should there be cases where your SPA is only going to be, or it's not going to be specific to any specific end customer, we can also tick this any end customer section right here. And now this is going to be an SPA that is for any end customer that we do business with as of right now. Once we've entered in the fundamental information on the various parties that are involved here, we can use this details section right here to basically just enter in the basic information on this SPA. So this includes things such as the agreement name, the given currency that's being used here, and most importantly, we can also identify the eligible start and end dates when it comes to eligibility for these different date ranges here. The key section that goes into the SPA process is this distributor term section right here. So using this distributor term section, this is basically where your team can go to identify what is the calculation method, or rather, how are we claiming back from the given manufacturer in this case right here. So using this right here, there's a few pieces of detail, but really the most important piece is deciding that mechanism or calculation method in this section right here. As we can see, many different ways for us to kind of break out this information and do this calculation here. So this can include things like a fixed amount per unit, a percentage of price list, price difference, margin maintenance, as well as recently we've added the ability to handle LIFO and FIFO calculations when it comes to this piece right here. Since we've gone with a percentage of price list, if we look to the right, we then can establish what is the supported price list that we're using for the calculation in this case right here. So using this piece, we can easily identify the given price list that's associated with this calculation. And then we can also identify what is the default percentage of price list that we're going to be calculating off of in this case here. One of the newer features that our team added was this additional mechanisms piece right here. And really what this does is this just allows your team to handle multiple different types of calculation methods on any given SPA. So I've personally seen SPAs come through that have not just a percentage of price list, but they might also have a price difference calculation. And those are both within one given SPA. So really the idea with this additional mechanism piece right here is it just gives your team the ability to handle multiple different calculation methods for one overarching SPA and enable. Next piece from here, so once we've decided the support mechanism information, we can also add in additional details in this upper section right here. So one of the other things that a lot of our customers have asked for us to add to our system is the ability to handle quantity limits, or just being able to identify quantity associated with a given SPA. So using this quantity section right here, we can simply tick this enforce quantity limit section here. And what this is going to allow you to do is just limit the amount of quantity that we can calculate off of for this specific SPA. Really, the big takeaway that I want you to leave here with for this distributor term section is really just the flexibility and ability to handle different use cases when it comes to the SPAs in this section. To move on from here, if we look in this end customer term section right here, one thing that I've seen more so in Europe as opposed to North America is sometimes these SPAs, you have to sell to a given customer at a specific end price. So if that's the case with these different SPAs here, what we can do is we can tick this button on, and then we can enter in end customer pricing details so that we're basically telling the system, hey, if we sell above or sell below a given price, then we might not be eligible for support in this case here with this SPA. Beyond the calculation side here, if we look in this bottom section here, one of the other really crucial components to setting up a SPA is doing product identification or selecting what is eligible to participate within this SPA. So using this product section here, this is just the place you can go to basically enter in what is eligible to participate from a product perspective when it comes to this incentive here. A really great component that is a piece of this as well is you don't have to manually go in and enter in the given SKUs that are participating here, but rather we can also use logic to basically identify eligibility. So for example, if this is going to be an SPA that's just going to be for these two product categories here, we can set up this rule, click on OK, and then we're going to see all of the products that fulfill that condition automatically added to this SPA in this individual section right here. The final piece to this is sometimes these SPAs, it's the rate that's going to be applied isn't going to be consistent across these different products here. So in this case here, if you have a spa that has both lamp and bulb category products, as well as industrial automation and control products, maybe both of these categories have different rates that are being applied when it comes to the claim back. So using this section right here, this distributor delivery section, we can basically override what the given percentage that's going to be applied here is for each of these different categories of products, as we can see. So that was the front-end methodology for getting the SPA in the system. One final thing I just want to reiterate is, again, oftentimes we see that distributors want to bulk import this information. So instead of maybe manually entering this information in, one of the new things that we can do, again, is just bulk import the contract details and fully automate this approach to getting these spas up and running here. Once the SPA details have been entered into our system here, we can look over to this PDF tab right here. And this is just going to show us a automatically generated trade agreement PDF file containing all of those different deal details that we put into the spa deal creation process there. So this is really great for sharing both internally, but also externally when it comes to sign off and making sure everybody is on the same page with the details that go into this SPA specifically. Just to quickly jump back to the deal creation process here, one of the components that I had referenced earlier in the calculation side of things is that our team recently added the ability to handle LIFO and FIFO calculations. So where this calculation is ultimately being driven from is our new functionality called this quantity and price ledger. What this quantity and price ledger is going to do is basically take in all of your PO data with these different manufacturers. And then it's gonna, if we just look to the right here, break this down by the given POs. And we can understand what is the given into stock price associated with a PO, and also what is the given quantity that we purchased at this into stock price. What our system is gonna do here is if we select a LIFO or a FIFO model, it's basically gonna use this information that we see on this page here and draw from this to claim bucket right here until it zeroes out and we're out of items to claim at this into stock price of $14 in this case here. So again, this is something where Enable's worked with a lot of our customers, heard a lot of feedback around being able to support LIFO and FIFO. And what Razib and team have done is basically built this page out here. And this now just allows us to handle those types of calculations when it comes to the LIFO FIFO model. So that was the deal creation process. Again, really the big takeaway that I want you guys to leave here with is that it's really adding in automation to this process. And it's also standardizing things when it comes to setting up these details. Again, a lot of the time using an ERP or Excel, it's just difficult to have a streamlined process and have visibility and tracking. So using this process right here, just a great way to kind of streamline and standardize out the calculation and deal setup side of things here. From here, so once we have the calculation or the SPA agreement set up within our system, what we can do is we can move over to our support report. And this is really just the report that is ultimately used to track how much should we be claiming back from these different manufacturers. So on this report right here, This is going to break out by SPA. It's also going to break out by branch and by product. And if we look to the right-hand side, we can understand what is the given SPA on a line right here. And more importantly, you can understand what are the total transacted units, what is the total transacted value, and also what is the actual support that Enable calculated the claim to be for this given SPA and for this given product right here. So again, just leaning in on a few of those challenges that we commonly see. Oftentimes it's there's a lot of difficulty with the calculation side, making sure you're calculating accurately. But as a downstream effect of that, organizations have a tough time understanding how much they should be claiming back from these different manufacturers. So this page right here is really just providing visibility and the output into the claims process, really just so you can kind of be supported in reaching out to those manufacturers and claiming back the appropriate amount from those different manufacturers there. This is really the first step in the claims process. So this is kind of the report that shows the claim values, as we can kind of see right here. But what we've also built recently is the actual ability to reach out to those different manufacturers, share reporting or share claims information with those manufacturers, and file claims with those manufacturers so you can get the money back onto your team there, or into your team. So looking at this claims process here, what we're going to start with is we're on the claims listings page here. And this is really just a landing page showing us some high-level snapshot information into the claims process and some metrics in this area here. So on this page, for example, we can see the number of outstanding claims, the total value of these outstanding claims, as well as the number of queried or disputed claims and the value as well, respectively. In addition to this, we can see an activity log in this section here. So if you want to understand who is filing which claims with which of our given manufacturers, or just want to understand the broader activity that's surrounding this, we can use this section right here just to get that paper trail and more visibility into this side of the process here. The way that your team can ultimately go about setting up or scheduling a given claim here is we can firstly step into this generate claim section. What this is going to do is it's going to take us to a page where we can really just get started with entering the basic information on this claim that we're filing here. So in this case, I have to start by entering the claim name right here. We then have to decide who is the given manufacturer that we're claiming back from. And then we can see a short list of all of the different agreements that we have with this given manufacturer in this list right here. So in this case, we're going to go with a 2022 incentive. And then once we've entered this information, we now see these two additional sections. So firstly, we can identify what is the cadence of which this claim should be scheduled. So a few different options here. If you want this to be a monthly or quarterly or any of these different options right here, this is highly flexible depending on the cadence of which you reach out to these manufacturers and ultimately claim back from them. In this case here, we're going to go with a quarterly claim cadence. And the final piece is then deciding what is the grace period. And really what grace period means is this is basically delaying the time of which the claim is scheduled to go out. And the idea surrounding this is that sometimes all of the necessary data to calculate the claim can be lagging. So this is a way for us to sort of just delay the process of scheduling and sending out these claims to these manufacturers. Once the claim has been generated, if I just open a generated claim right here, what we're going to see is a page similar to this right here, where it's now taken all of that information from the calculation side of the house, taken the information from that support report, and automatically put together a page that shows us all of the granular details surrounding the claim that we're filing here. So this includes things like the basic information on the claim that's filed here, the value to claim, information broken out by given agreements here in this section here. And more importantly for distributor SPAs, we can also see the corresponding claims reporting in this section right here called files. One of the things I've commonly seen a lot of distributors have trouble with is having the ability to automatically configure templatized reports to share with those different manufacturers, ultimately to claim back and get their money back into their pockets. So with this piece here, what's going to happen behind the scenes is Enable is going to work with your team to understand what do these templatized claim reports look like, and we're going to format those and make it so that it automatically generates these claim reports that you can share with those different manufacturers through this process here. Additionally, we can also see, again, another audit trail on the right-hand side right here, just showing you who has worked on this claim, any changes that have been made, and the associated details here. One of the final components that we added as well is we also have the ability to handle an approval process. So if this is a agreement where, or this claim has to go through a few levels of approval, maybe procurement, finance, commercial, and legal in this case, our team will again work with you, understand what that workflow looks like, and have that represented in this section right here. Once the claim has ultimately been scheduled, it's calculated, what we can see here is the claims listings page. And this is just going to, again, act as a centralized warehouse where you can jump in, understand the details surrounding these different claims, things such as the claim name, the value, different agreements, all of these different details. And again, similarly to that SPA landings page, this is just providing visibility and a place where your team can go and understand where do we currently sit with these different claims, and do we maybe have to action any of these claims to make sure we're staying on top of them. Final piece I'll note here is that with these claims, when they're being scheduled and once they've ultimately been approved internally, they then automatically will be shared via collaborator portal with the manufacturers so that they can either approve, deny, or what might have you, really just provide insight into why a claim is being approved or isn't being approved on their side of the house as well. So that is kind of what I had planned for today's demonstration. Again, looked at a few of the different components today. So we looked at the deal creation side of things. We looked at the reporting elements, both with the quantity and price ledger and the support report. And we had just finished up taking a look at this claims report here. Again, hopefully you saw a few of the areas where Enable is going to provide some value and address a few of those common challenges, such as the manual processes or lack of visibility or inability to handle complexity. So that's kind of what I had planned. Again, always feel free to reach out to our team if you have any questions, need clarification on anything, and I'll be more than happy to assist here.